What up, Gotham Guardians and Arkham Adversaries? I'm your host, Trey, and welcome back to the Bat Channel, your main hub for all things Batman.
Question. How do we call him? He gave us a signal.
Well, here I am.
What a crazy weekend it's been, and we had Justice Con. Twitter was filled with Bat trending events. We're going to discuss all of that in our entertainment segment later on in the show, but for now, let's go ahead and get started in the comic book world where Batman takes off in the Joker War. The war between Batman and Joker has finally begun, but before we get to issue 95, let's just recap the ending of issue 94, with Batman asking guidance from Alfred to show him what to do next, and he sees the lightning striking the cloud of the bat signal, where he says, "I will become a better bat," which will play into Batman issue 95. Still continuing James Tynion's run, the cover work was Jorge Jimenez this time, and he kind of does artwork throughout the comic, but the variant cover from Francisco Mentina, holy cow, that was a cool cover. Loved the color palette, with the fire, but you also kind of see this really cool shadow of Batman overlooking Joker. But in issue 95, we start with a flashback with a conversation between Batman and Alfred as he's driving into Gotham City, and they're kind of analyzing this new criminal, the Joker, who's been leaving tons of dead bodies throughout Gotham. And Batman is confident that he's going to find more, because Joker is a character that his motivations are beyond anything Batman has ever encountered. He has no reason to his method or crimes. People are just meat to the Joker, and everyone is already dead. But Batman believes that everything the Joker is doing is testing Batman, because he believes that the Joker sees him as the only other person alive in his universe, so it's constantly testing to see what will be Batman's breaking point. And Batman basically concedes that this battle between the Joker and him will never end, which Alfred kind of has this sweet moment where he says, well, you're not going to go through this alone. I'll always be there with you. Which, as we know from issue 77, Alfred being gone, Batman's going to be doing this alone for the first time. So, curious to see what that means for Bruce and dealing with someone like the Joker who's taking everything to the next level, but maybe that'll reveal itself as time goes on. But now we get into the present with news reports are coming out about Wayne Enterprises being under new management, the Joker, and that controversy surrounds the CEO, Bruce Wayne, for embezzling money to support the Batman, which, all of it's starting to come together of Joker's plot. But Punchline at this time, Joker's new crime partner, has Lucius Fox hostage and under mind control. She has these like little acupuncture needles, I think filled with like Joker toxin in his brain. He has like a really creepy smile. It's kind of cool looking. But she's having him hack into the main computers at Wayne Enterprises, which she asks like Lucius, what's his place called? And he calls it the Hibernaculum, which is the place where bats breed, which it's really cool because you can tell it's basically a manufacturing facility for Batmobiles and all Batman's gadgets. So it's kind of a cool play on words. But during that, the newly titled billionaire Joker is at Monarch Theater with the owner looking to purchase it. And it's, I mean, when you get to Monarch Theater, you know the Joker has something very, very sinister planned. And he's searching through all the old film reels. And of course, he's searching for that one film, The Mark of Zorro, from Bruce's fatal night of him becoming Batman on Crime Alley. But you hear laughter in the theater, and of course, the theater is filled with Joker smiled corpse. So something very, very crazy in store does Joker have. But Batman, while this is going on, is doing some reconnaissance at Wayne Enterprises, where he also learns of the Joker's plan to purchase all the movie theaters in Gotham City. Which I think Joker's basically gonna fill all of them with Joker face corpse, right? Like he's gonna make this a very big ordeal. But he activates, Batman activates his new micro Batcave that he's never been to before. That was supposed to be one that he uses after he builds New Gotham City. But inside this micro cave, he's ambushed by Punchline. And is revealed that inside this micro cave, he has a brand new bat suit, which is super cool looking. I can't wait. I hope they use it. But no one knows who built it. Bruce even asks Lucius, like, did you design this? And Lucius says, like, I thought you did. So I think that suit, based off what it's supposed to be, the Punchline even says she gives this like how great it is, like that, all this new technology that you had, for your new hope of Gotham City, and you're not even going to be able to use it. And she's like, and I dig the new suit. It's not really a Dark Knight, but it's a cool suit, but you'll never use it. I think that's like a cool little twist, because I think Alfred built the suit for Bruce. I think it was supposed to be this new look of hope that Batman was no longer going to be a Dark Knight, almost a White Knight, who's, rather than instills fear, he's going to inspire people to be better. So we'll see. I'm sure that'll come into play a little later in the Joker War. But shortly after, Batman falls under the influence of Joker's fear toxin, and it's also mixed with venom. So that Punchline, I guess, has developed an immunity to it. I mean, this girl's crazy. Of course she developed immunity to it. But Batman begins to hear Alfred's voice as he starts to run towards the exit of the cave. And Alfred's like, tell him you're going the wrong way. Which, to Batman's dismay, the Batjet has a new clown paint job and is lining the Cape Crusader in his line of sight and fires away. And that's the end of Batman issue 95. It's getting tense, right? Issue 96 is only going to get crazier. But now we go into the tie-in of Batgirl 47, which, knock knock, the Joker has come to pay a visit to Barbara Gordon, which the writer Cecile Castellucci, the cover artist Cam Smith, and I think throughout the comic, Rob Rodriguez did the artwork, and it was pretty cool. Especially the cover art by Cam Smith, that kind of had a Killing Joke 2.0 feel to it. Which, if you guys haven't read Killing Joke, that's the famous comic where Joker paralyzes Barbara Gordon. But, as you know, much later in the comic, she gets a chip implanted in her spine that gives her the ability to walk again. But it's not going to work this time, because as the Joker makes his appearance in her apartment, he has a device that can basically make the chip malfunction in her spine and electrocute her. So her legs are pretty much useless. She's back to where she was on that fatal night, and she kind of goes through this PTSD, panic mode, and a state of survival. And Barbara Gordon is basically, she's narrating throughout the comic about what she needs to do next, how she's going to get through this, how she's going to survive, what's her plan of attack, and how she's going to find her opportune moment to take out the Joker. But as she's waiting for this moment, the Joker's constantly taunting at her. She's basically, trying to figure out how to play his game, and at one point she starts laughing at him, basically telling him how weak he is for needing Batman. And it's kind of funny because he gets bothered by this, right? For someone who has a laughing gas toxin that makes people laugh until they die, he's so bothered that he's not the cause of her laughter, and she's basically laughing at him, which it's such a great moment. So he starts beating her around, basically, and using the chip to keep electrocuting her when she tries to get an upper hand on him. But basically, at one point, she finds this, I think it's like a metal pole that she kind of broke. It's like a spear-like thing. But she ends up taking her weakness out of the equation and slices the chip out of her back. Such like a crazy, like, badass, Barbara Gordon moment. But she gets her revenge and kind of a flip to Killing Joke and spears the Joker in the back. And the comic ends with the two lying on the ground laughing at each other. And like the Joker basically says, like, okay, you're the best Robin. So I think it's going to be really cool with all these tie-ins of how the Joker is going to be messing with the Bat family, and just the continuation of how this all integrates into Batman's war with the Joker. But something tells me it's going to get even more tense, and it's going to be a wild ride for sure. So stick around as we go into gaming segment next. A few new rumor updates coming, but it's going to be fun nonetheless. Some more rumors popping up in the gaming world, guys. So according to comicbook.com, a job was posted, which, how crazy is that? People are playing into rumors from a simple job posting from a company, right? But according to comicbook.com, there was a job that was posted on June 4th for a senior game designer to work on a new third-person open-world game set in the DC universe. A lot of people think this means there's a second DC game other than that Batman Arkham prequel with the Court of Owls, because that game is supposed to be pretty much done and revealed during the DC fandom. So if they're working on another development, or is it a sequel? Is it a Superman game finally? Me personally, I almost wonder if it's a Justice League game, if it's DC's answer to Marvel's Avengers for PC, PS5, I think it is. So I don't know. We'll see. That could get really, really cool. I'm curious to see if they announce anything at DC fandom. But speculation still says that the new Arkham game is supposed to come out this holiday season. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. But in Injustice 2 Mobile,
this bomb is mobile.
The new solo raids come to an end. If you haven't tried the new solo raids, it's really, really cool. I dig the concept. It's basically the same, style as your League raids, where you have your whole team helping you take out, I think, Brainiac. But now you're on your own. But you still have, like, your main bosses. Basically, Darkseid is, like, the top head honcho, right? But some of the bosses you have are Suicide Squad, Harley Quinn, Blade Master Robin, Emerald Green Lantern, the Last Laugh Joker, and then you get to Darkseid, and all those bosses have like 4 underbosses that you have to get through before you get to them. Very, very similar gameplay where each kind of boss has its own perk that makes it difficult for you to try to beat them, and you kind of have to strategize your team to be able to take them out, and you get 3 tries, I think, every I think it's like every 3 hours. So I mean, they gave us a month to complete, and it's finally in its last few days. But some of the rewards are phenomenal. You can get these new apocalypse artifacts that help boost your character's strength. And different perks, but also extra perks for your solar raids. So hopefully when the solar raids come back with some of your new artifacts, you'll be able to use that to your advantage for the next game. So without further ado, we're now going to go into our entertainment segment. So much happened this last weekend with JusticeCon and different Twitter events. So stick around. We got a lot going for you. Bat fans united. My goodness, was this weekend busy, especially like if you're a Batman lover like me. Twitter was like booming with different fan events. This last Friday, fans took to Twitter to show a little gratitude to one of their favorite Batmans, Batfleck. He's one of my faves, by using hashtag Thanks Batfleck, which trended worldwide. Guys, it trended worldwide. With over 50,000 tweets. People made 30-second videos. It was so cool to see all the support for Ben Affleck as Batman. But the fans made their intentions pretty clear that, I mean, if Ben is game, they would love to see him don the cowl again. I even did a poll on Twitter and asked people, if Ben comes back, would you like to see him in an HBO Max series or film? And it was close to 90%. I want to say it ended at 88%. People said yes, they want to see him back. So, man, I mean, hopefully, you know, with the success of Zack Snyder's Justice League, maybe something will come to life on that. But it doesn't end there. On Monday, there was another fan event. My goodness. Where people are calling for another Batman film. I believe we talked about this on our first video, but apparently Joel Schumacher, the late great Joel Schumacher, I'm going to redo that. Corey, we're going to cut this.
You didn't say the magic word.
Please! God damn it!
This one should be, you know, without any effort on HBO Max's part, because apparently they have it in the vault in the last 25 years. But fans asked for the late, great Joel Schumacher's 3-hour darker version of Batman Forever with Val Kilmer and Chris O'Donnell, which I met Chris O'Donnell. He's a really, really cool guy. Sometime I'll tell you that story. It's a bit of a long one, but I'll tell you about it later. But yeah, apparently there's a 3-hour darker version of Val Kilmer's Batman, and the Twitter event had basically released the Schumacher cut, and it surpassed 10,000 tweets, which even it received recognition from an AT&T owned account. TNT Drama tweeted that they're looking for the release the Schumacher cut. So I think, man, when you get an official count that acknowledges, you know, the Schumacher cut, I think there's something there. Because, I mean, how long did it take Warner Brothers to acknowledge the Snyder cut? I mean, after sending letters, after sending emails, after all of our Twitter events for 3 years, they barely recognized it and barely, you know, I mean, I get it was a bit of a thing for them that they didn't want to acknowledge, but I mean, it took, you know, AT&T purchasing them to finally get the ball rolling and then to acknowledge it and say, yeah, we're doing it. So, I mean, that's some pretty cool stuff. I mean, we'll see. Whoever's running that TNT Twitter account, they're rock stars. But Jeffrey Dean Morgan, cool news here, who played Thomas Wayne in Batman v Superman, has a response to Michael Keaton's casting in the new Flashpoint film, and this is what Jeffrey Dean had to say. Michael Keaton swooped in and took my gig. Nah, I think that's super cool. Ever since Zack Snyder walked away, my whole kind of bit in that world has walked away with him. However, there's always a chat going on, so we'll see. Man. So I still think Michael Caine is not Flashpoint Batman. I don't think he's Thomas Wayne. I think he's Batman from 1989. And I still think it's going to be a cameo that leads into Batman Beyond HBO Max series. But now that Zack Snyder is technically back with his Justice League, I think the possibilities are endless. I still think Jeffrey Dean Morgan can be Flashpoint Batman. Tell me what you guys think. Tell me what you think of Michael Keaton's role in Flashpoint, and what, Jeffrey Dean Morgan's going to make an appearance. Just let us know, and we'll maybe go over it next week. But speaking of Zack Snyder, the Justice Con this last weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Whoo, man! Here's something really cool. For a fan-made event, it outdid Comic-Con at Home, which Comic-Con at Home was San Diego Comic-Con's response to the pandemic, to do a virtual Comic-Con. It outdid Comic-Con at Home. And we'll go into that. So on Saturday, director Zack Snyder appeared on the independent fan convention JusticeCon. His panel, which logged over 260,000 views in less than 48 hours. And it was live. And it allowed Snyder to spend an hour with fans, interacting with them, and, to thank them for, making the Snyder Cut possible. But on Comic-Con at Home's special event, their main event, now granted, Star Wars didn't have a panel this year, Marvel didn't have a panel this year, so some of their big guys, right? But their biggest panel was AMC's The Walking Dead, which I'm a fan of AMC The Walking Dead. I loved Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Negan. I loved Andrew Lincoln as Rick Grimes. Great show, right? And AMC's The Walking Dead was the strongest performer for Comic-Con at Home, logging over 84,000 views. 84 versus 260,000. Views on YouTube, and generating nearly 11,900 tweets. A lot of people say the issue with Comic-Con at Home was that it lacked fan interaction on the panels, which I can completely understand that. It sounded like it was a lot of pre-recorded stuff with the cast and crews. But, I mean, still some really, really, cool stuff. I mean, but the fact that JusticeCon was a fan-made event and did that well and performed that well, absolutely phenomenal. Let's go over the main panels real quick. So you had Into the People and AFSP, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. They discussed about how Into the People, with all the merchandise they created, made $100,000 of the $200,000 we raised for AFSP, and they were even kind enough to tell us kind of where our money goes, with the research into suicide prevention, how to create different social media outlets for make things easier access for people that need help. So, I mean, it was really cool to kind of hear, like, our money's not, just being taken and, tossed in a bank somewhere. It's going for a good cause. But then we had Ray Porter as Darkseid show his support for the JusticeCon, and kind of, really our first interaction with him. And he's such a sweet dude. I didn't know this, but he's also a very big Shakespearean actor. So kind of a cool, maybe he'll give us a little of that background with Darkseid in some of his speeches. But he doesn't, one cool thing we learned from him is that he doesn't even know what the Darkseid voice is going to sound like yet, other than what he did. But we also had Deborah Snyder, Zach's wife, come on with the Amazons and talk about a really cool scene with Martha Kent and Lois Lane that was different from Justice League, and kind of that support, and definitely a much more respect for the female characters in this, rather than what Justice League did and had Flash fall on, Wonder Woman's breast and things like that. So stupid. Or like having Martha Kent say, like, oh, Lois Lane's the thirstiest reporter, like stupid lines. So I think, with the female leads in Justice League, it's going to be done way better and much more respect to it. But then we had Ray Fisher, Cyborg, come on, and he did a really cool, kind of intense panel when it got to the Joss Whedon topic. But it sounds like he's undergoing some legal things with Warner Brothers at this moment to make sure this doesn't happen again with Josh Whedon's mistreatment of the cast and crew. So, as Ray Fisher said, Josh Whedon's probably scared. So, more to come of that when it develops. But then we got to the end of Saturday, and Zack Snyder, man, he is such a cool guy. To have him support this, I mean, he didn't have to. He didn't have to be there. But the fact that he came out just to say thank you to the fans and give us kind of a cool Q&A session. And I get that there wasn't a lot he could talk about because, you know, some of it, I mean, he doesn't want to spoil it for us. But he's also has some big things coming up at DC Fandom, which is the official DC Comic-Con event. So, I mean, there's a lot more to come. But he did some really cool, he talked about some of the projects he's working on with Zack Snyder's Justice League, which is restoring the film to its original size. Right now it was doing the widescreen angle, which is a typical cinematic size screen, I guess you could say. But he's working on restoring it to its IMAX level, where it's much taller and almost kind of boxier looking in a way. So a lot more detail going on in the scene. And he kind of gave us, I guess you could say, a little film education course on that, which was kind of fun. But someone also asked him, and I'm surprised someone asked him this because, I mean, we kind of all knew the answer. I think someone just wanted to hear his reaction more. But someone asked him if he would use any of Josh Whedon's scenes in his cut. And of course, he said in a much more graphic way, he would rather burn that film to the ground than use anything that wasn't his, which, to be expected, right? But one of the cool reveals, he said he was going to show us something, and let's play that little clip for you real quick.
I'm assuming you're Alfred.
Master Kent, you said you'd come. Now let's hope you're not too late.
Guys, finally, it's been speculated for so long that it's what color suit Superman is wearing, right? Like, black suit Superman. Come on. That, like, I know that's technically a clip we've seen before in the deleted scenes, which Zack kind of goes into that. He basically told us that Justice League failed so miserably that they decided to throw in one of Zack's scenes in the deleted scenes to hopefully make fans happy, which more like angered us to see that there was a possibility of a black suit Superman and that they took it away, which is in the comics. It's in the comics. I don't know why Warner Brothers would have just thrown that out, and apparently they gave him crap about it. Like, originally he intended it to be a black suit Superman, and they told him, like, no, make it blue and red, and he kind of did a thing where he's like, okay, film it in the blue and red, and then post-production he made it the black and silver suit. So kind of funny that Zack kind of said, like, screw you guys, this is the right way to go about it. But the fact that they pressured him into that, like, come on, like, that was what everyone wanted to see. They wanted to see the black suit Superman, and man, does it look good. Looks great. But I mean, Zack is just, like, giving out goodies at this moment, right? Like, one of the coolest things he did for fans at this is he had a t-shirt made for fans. And of course, you got the Justice League symbol on it. It says, I think 2016 to 2021 in Roman numerals. But on the back, the shirt says associate producer with, a little blank white box where they're going to put all of our names in it when we purchase that shirt. How cool is that? I mean, to have that kind of, I mean, yes, it's just a title, and it probably won't be to the credits of the film. But the fact that we could all wear that shirt around and said, "I helped release the Snyder Cut," and bring that film to life, like that's like such a cool gift, and like I can't wait to get my shirt. Like that's gonna be awesome. But another question came up of the film, or what Zack Snyder's Justice League, is it going to be a series or a film? And Zack kind of gave, a very could go anyway answer, right? Which to be expected, but he said we will get the answer during the DC fandom. And we'll also get the official title because I guess there's some legal issues with Zack Snyder's Justice League, which I hope they figure that out because it should be just Zack Snyder's Justice League. But he's working on getting that taken care of. But between the series or the movie, because people ask, is he compromising if he does a series? And Zack says absolutely not. If they do a series, which based off this answer, I'm kind of assuming that because he's okay with the series idea and that it wouldn't be compromising, I think we're going to get a series, especially the film that he originally had done and completed before Justice League came out was the 214-minute cut, which is like 3 hours and 34 minutes. That's a long film. I mean, no different than a Lord of the Rings film, but like if he's adding additional photography to it, I mean, we're talking about maybe a 4-hour film. So that might be a bit rough for people to sit in one sitting, but Zack said you could still do that with this film. If it is a film, it might be close to that 4-hour cut, but still you could sit through it. Which may be why it would be better on HBO Max than in theaters. You can make your own intermission, right? But one of the cool things that Zack really brought up and kind of showed his support about this group was he really thanked the fans for saving lives with AFSP. He says it best. We'll play the clip for you right here.
But I did think what I really, the entire time and the work that we did and the money that was raised by the fans and by you guys and the awareness, toward mental health and suicide prevention and those things that are so important and literally saving lives. Literally, like, I don't care, like, this work has saved people's lives. People are alive today that would not be if you guys hadn't done what you did. Right? That's just a fucking fact. Okay? And so you can say whatever you want about whether or not this is the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do or whether you care about the fucking Snyder Cut or you don't. The fact is that the work done is undeniably amazing. And it doesn't matter if we ever release the fucking film, that this alone is enough for me and for like my family and for our personal involvement with fandom and with what they've done. This fucking thing right here, like, you can't, I don't care who the fuck, you can't deny that that's amazing. And so, all right, sorry. So the rant, I apologize.
I mean, yeah, he says it best, right? And like, absolutely. I mean, we joined together to do great things in the memory of Autumn Snyder, his daughter. And this is kind of just an added benefit, right? Like we got to help people, and that's one of the coolest things about this group. But then on Sunday night, we got Sean O'Connell from Cinema Blend, who is writing the Release the Snyder Cut book. He gave us a lost chapter that won't be in the book, but something that he had wrote prior before sending it to the publishers. And the style of the book is going to be really, really cool. It kind of reminds me of, I think, Batman and Bill, with, the story about Bill Finger and how that behind the scenes of how, they were able to get Bill Finger credit for making Batman. It kind of has that feel to it. It's a fan service book. It's going to be really, really good. And I can't wait until it comes out. It's going to be a phenomenal book. But apparently in that book, Sean O'Connell had an interview with Zack Snyder after the announcement that we were going to get it. And they talked about the continuity of Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League. And the word that Zack used was Elseworlds. This is really cool because it basically means that Zack doesn't have to worry about the visions of other directors and having to be a part of that story. So while I like the idea and I think it opens up the possibility for Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3 and maybe even Batfleck coming back while Matt Reeves is doing his theme with Robert Pattinson. Part of me is also a little bummed about that. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm excited, right? I can't wait for Zack Snyder's Justice League, but I kind of hoped that this would be like DC saying like, yeah, like Zack's our guy, and like he had this vision for all these characters to have this incredible story arc that led into Justice League 3. And I was kind of hoping that this would basically be that, but who knows? Maybe Flashpoint is going to be the movie that real sets everything back to, I mean, especially if Zack Snyder's Justice League is insanely successful on HBO Max, maybe everything changes from there. So it's only going to get crazier from here, guys. Like, DC fandom is going to be an insane event. We definitely got to, be ready for that and just watch it and support it. They're going all out on this event. And, oh, here we go. Think we know who's calling. Hey, Batman.
Language is the key to world peace. If we all spoke each other's tongues, perhaps the scourge of war would be ended forever.
You got it, sir. Thank you. Well, another beautiful words of advice from the man himself, Batman. Guys, thank you so much for watching again. I really, really appreciate it. If you haven't seen episode 1, please go ahead and click on our channel and watch it and give it the like, subscribe, and share with your fellow Bat family. I'm your host, Trey, and don't forget to tune in next week. Same Bat time, same Bat channel.